Hey guys. So Lawrence Okolie beat, how do you say his name? Cieslak in a unanimous points decision. Now, this was a tough test for Lawrence Okolie. Cieslak, hailing from Poland, only had one defeat on his record, which was to the current WBC cruiserweight champion, Makabu, who Canelo was thinking of fighting, but he looked like total trash in his last fight. Saw highlights, I just said, yeah. Anyway, so when I thought he lost to Makabu, I wonder why, and then I realised why once I saw the fight. So round one, he comes out, guns blazing, basically launches an attack on Lawrence Okolie. And I think Lawrence Okolie got a first round knockdown. He knocked him down. But I know one of you lot will correct me in the comments section. But I think it was a first round knockout. Anyway, this geezer, all he wanted to... I could see why he got beaten by Makabu, because Makabu can hit. Makabu has some boxing skills. He's not just, just like some brawler. This geezer was just a brawler. Like, all he wanted to do was rush Lawrence Okolie, get him in a clinch, and rabbit punch after rabbit punch after rabbit punch. He threw more rabbit punches than actual certain punches. I just didn't understand. Did he think rabbit punches were point scoring blows? The ref was so Lawrence Okolie had to reply with rabbit punches. Now, the ref kept warning him, but at the end of the day, that ref was just whoever you are. Ref, you can't just be warning people but not doing anything about it. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Cieslak should have had a points deduction. If you're going to keep stopping the fight and time out and all of this and talking to him, but yet you're not going to absolutely punish the fighter. So the fighter just thinks, I can carry on doing it. So you should not even bother stop them, ref, interrupting the fight if you ain't going to execute anything. Just let it go. And the amount of rabbit punches was just fucking ridiculous. Shouts out to Lawrence Okolie because he dealt with them. But what I noticed with Okolie, this was a hard fight because he couldn't gauge distance. He just didn't know how. He kept relying on this right hand and trying to go for the, I can't remember if it's the right or left hook. And he kept swiping over Cieslak. I know it's hard for tall guys to be tall guys. Lawrence Okolie is about 6'7", and it's hard for taller men to fight shorter men. I mean, Cieslak wasn't a midget at all. I mean, he was about 6'4.5", could even have been 6'5". But I mean, he did dip and evade some of those swoops, and that came with some of his experience. But at the end of the day, Lawrence Okolie just was trying this right hook. And I mean, at the end of the day, I was just thinking, change it up and just do a 1-2 straight down the pipe. And that would have shattered him, because I think Lawrence Okolie's right hand was mad telegraphed. So in the end, Cieslak, he predicted when Lawrence Okolie was going to try and throw the right, and it helped him to avoid the right. Don't get me wrong, I only had Cieslak winning 2 rounds out of that whole fight. It was a 10-2 fight, but I mean, it was just basically a clinch fest. And I mean, I get why this was a tough fight, because Lawrence Okolie is a knockout artist, and he's used to more clinical fighters that are boxers, not brawlers. I think this is his first encounter, to my knowledge, that he got a pure brawler. So this was a new thing. You've got to remember, Lawrence Okolie is only 16-0. I don't know if this made him 17-0 or if this made him 16-0. But he is a green fighter and he's learning on the fly. So shouts out to him, coming from the Olympics, less than 50 amateur fights, and, learning on the fly. Like AJ holding the belts, and Israel Adesanya I think. Sorry if I've butchered the name. I mean, the good points that Lawrence Okolie did, he jabbed to the body. He was slowing down Cieslak, definitely slowing him down. He was point scoring. He had good jab, but at some points he just left the jab. He could have mixed up the jab with body, then head, or then chest, or it just became, he looked like he was being very reliant on trying to get the knockout and trying to use the right hand. Like the left hand jab, it really worked, and he should have utilized that a bit more. But the jab that he had, it was just like a range finder. And I mean, he could have used a spiteful power jab, like what Anthony Joshua does. Power jab. Okolie's punch selection was very limited. I mean, it was just the same thing over and over again. Granted, he was facing someone that wasn't a technical boxer, so that worked in that instance, but it was a brawl fest. It was very untidy. There wasn't much accuracy. Lawrence Okolie's footwork wasn't good, and then Cieslak would turn southpaw, then back to orthodox. I don't know if that was just obviously a tactic to try and confuse Lawrence Okolie. Did that work? Not that I really saw. I did look at Lawrence's footwork when Cieslak was southpaw, and his lead foot wasn't on the outside of Cieslak's lead foot, so that was a bit wrong. But I think Cieslak was more, just showing being in the southpaw stance. He wasn't really fighting much in the southpaw stance, so I don't know why he bothered with that, to be honest. Had a counter left that was pretty decent, to be honest. Cieslak could have thrown like overhand rights, but I didn't see any unless I missed it. There was a severe absence of an uppercut. Like when the uppercut could have been presented when Cieslak, was dipped down. Lawrence Okolie, I probably remember maybe 2 uppercuts. I remember a big uppercut missing, and I just remember him trying to get the right and missing a lot. His punch selection looked... Lawrence Okolie's used to fighting clinical fighters, so when I looked at that, I said, could he beat Marius Bradis with that performance? I said no, but then thinking Bradis is absolutely a clinical boxer with power, only one defeat to Alexander Usyk. So I think that Lawrence Okolie will probably do better with him. I just don't think the brawler thing was just a great chin, and I mean, there was times when he was just rocked, but shouts out to him because, Polish people are a very tough nation, and they've got, all of the cruiserweight division is dominated by Eastern Europeans, and so it's a tough division because they are very technical, they are very tough, and they are very durable in all levels, meaning if it's a brawler cruiserweight, he's got a great chin. If it's a boxer cruiserweight, he's a great technical, accurate boxer with a great chin. If he's a boxer puncher like Bradis, got a good chin. So it's a very hard division to be involved in, to be honest. But Lawrence Okolie did well enough. There was no doubts in the win. It was unanimous. I thought it was unanimous, but it was just a big learning curve. Okolie did, for the first time, I saw him get wobbled. I don't know, did Cieslak throw? Maybe it was just like a huge right that I think Okolie kind of walked into, and, he kind of stumbled back, and it was like, and he recovered neatly. There was multiple times when Cieslak got stunned and buzzed. I could see it in his face. His ear was, I think his left ear was bleeding. But he kind of knew survivor tactics. All he did was clench. And I hate fights like that. And the referee kept breaking them up and telling them off. Like, it was just annoying. Cieslak is a very dirty fighter. Very dirty fight. And I can see why Makabu beat him. Makabu just probably sparked him. I don't know. I ain't seen the fight. But I can see why he lost to Makabu. So, yeah. Shouts out to Lawrence Okolie. It's a learning curve. He got the victory. Second title defence. And I thought Okolie was tired, he then perked up. He's got a good engine on him. Definitely Cieslak didn't have the greatest engine as Okolie. You know, you're not throwing any fucking punches anyway, so you're just holding on. You should fucking... He was just in survival mode. I'm a survivor. We should have played Beyonce. We should have played Destiny's Child. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. Wishing you the best. Pray that you are blessed. Yeah, she's like, no more happiness. I'm better than that. I'm going to drop you on a canvas. I'm better than that. Yeah, you need lots of Okolie in the end. I think just tried to give up on the knockout. But then I think on the 11th and 12th round, he was trying a bit hard. I thought, you know, you've got rounds in the bag. On the 12th round, you should have just went all guns. This is a long bloody breakdown, isn't it? But there was quite a bit to break down. Quite a bit to break down. Am I missing anything? You know, you'll catch me on tomorrow, Monday, on my weekly wrap-up show. Check my community tab to see what time it is, because the time can vary anywhere between 9 p.m. start UK time or right up to about 10:30 UK time. So check what time that will be. Yeah, it was good fights. Definitely, I didn't catch the undercard of the Okolie fight, but I know it was a decent undercard. I can't even remember who was on it, but I know it was quite decent. Eddie Hearn looked quite happy, but you know, he said it was tough. And Lawrence Okolie, humble as ever, critiqued his performance and gave respect to what he saw. You know, Marius Bradis came, you know, Super Mario brother, but you know, gave Lawrence Okolie Bradis do want him next, but he said he had to get this fight out of the way in Australia, and you know, Lawrence Okolie was like, I ain't really got time to dilly dally. Lawrence Okolie did state, which was quite interesting, that you know, he had to go at Shane McGuigan. He was like, you know, I came in like, you know, it's hard for me to be making the weight and to get down to this weight, not doing it again. That's what he said. So he did look a little slimmer. I don't know what weight he came in. I need to check what he was in the weigh-in, but he was a bit slimmer. And sometimes these trainers need to find out what their fighters are comfortable and what their optimum fighting weight is. Do you know what I mean? There's no point of saying get down to this weight. It's not you. It's how you feel. It doesn't matter how your trainer thinks that you should be. Like, you could have a guide, and if you feel comfortable on that weight, stay at that weight as long as you're making the weight within the 200-pound limit. So yeah, he's a little character, isn't he? So you know, he gave respect to Lawrence Okolie, gave him a McDonald's, which I thought was quite humorous. Lawrence Okolie was looking at him thinking he's coming to chat shit and talk some rough talk. So Lawrence Okolie's like, but Bradis, you know, dabbed him up and spudded him, and Eddie Hearn had his talk, but you know, Bradis, we ain't got time basically to wait on you. So in the meantime, Eddie Hearn did mention maybe fight Maccabi. That would be an interesting fight, a Gager, because that's an opponent, you know, who he's just beat, Cieslak, lost to him. So Okolie beats Cieslak and then he beats Maccabi. That's saying quite something. You know, he wants to be unified and he wants to go to heavyweight because he seems to be not comfortable making the cruiserweight anymore. This video is mad long and I could just go in depth. There's more stuff but we will break it down tomorrow. Anyway, Lawrence Okolie beats Cieslak in a unanimous points decision and retains his title. Congratulations to Lawrence Okolie. East London in the building. Anyway, I'm gone. Hey girl, this is LadyChann, rep none less. Come box with Chan. Gone.
Chickity check, 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 check. We not take back no check. You pep talk. Chickity check, 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 check. Hey girl, this is LadyChann.